evening and thank you so much for joining us. This is Truth TV News coming to you live from the campus of Heritage Christian University College in Amasaman, Accra, Ghana. I'm Conrad Kakraba. Coming up in the headlines. Ghana's 2021 census scheduled for June 27. Also, government announces construction of 5 interchanges in Ashanti region. And later in business, Ghana aims at reducing chicken importation by 70% by 2025. And in the news from the foreign front, Tanzania's Samia Suluhu Hassan sworn in as first female president. We have details of these and more coming up shortly. This news is brought to you by Heritage Christian University College in Amasaman, Accra, and also supported by St. Carol School of Nursing in Aplaku Botiano near the Bojo Beach, and then also Taifufa Company, the producers of Chanka Chanka Herbal Medicine, Taifufa 202 and Jefferton 202. And now the details of the stories. The Ghana Statistical Service has scheduled the 2021 Population and Housing Census for Sunday, June 27, 2021. The census was expected to take place in 2020 but had to be rescheduled due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Ahead of the exercise, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, will today launch the countdown dubbed 100 Days to 2021 Population and Housing Census. The countdown is a series of activities which will be rolled out by the GSS in the next 100 days to sensitize the public to the census. The census advisor to the government statistician, Mr. Kofi Ajimandia, told the Daily Graphic that the GSS had made all the preparations for the census. He said the census was a process and the GSS had therefore been preparing for its night for at least 2 years. Mr. Ajimandia said the process was divided into 3 main phases, comprising the deployment of field staff to demarcate the whole country into smaller units, draw digital maps, and take the geographical position of all localities, the development of relevant questionnaires which would be used to collect the data, and then the testing of the questionnaire on 3 occasions. Mr. Ajimandia said the GSS had within the period also procured all the materials needed for the census. He said the GSS was also in the process of recruiting about 75,000 staff for the exercise. Out of this number, some will be national trainers and regional trainers, and the rest would be on the field to collect the data. Mr. Ajimandia said the GSS had already recruited the national trainers who were being trained. He said the census night, which had been scheduled for June 27, 2021, was just a reference night, which did not mean all the data would be collected on that night. Mr. Ajimandia urged the public to participate in the census, saying it would help the government plan for its citizens. He also gave an assurance that all COVID-19 protocols would be observed in all the processes leading to the census, and that the exercise would not be a source of the spread of the virus.
The Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin, has emphasized the need for the 2 political parties in the country, the main political parties, to work together for the common good of the country and to further help Ghana's democracy to grow. He said, having played a role to build Ghana's democracy to this level, many Ghanaians were no longer interested in partisan politics.
He said the people expected the 2 main political parties, the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress, to put the interest of the country ahead of their parochial interest by collaborating more for national development. Mr. Bagbin made these comments when the U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Mrs. Stephanie Sullivan, paid a courtesy call on him on last Wednesday. She used the visit to congratulate the Speaker on his ascension to the high office of Speakership. The 2 spoke about a number of key issues pertaining to the development of their respective countries. The conversation was also centered on health, agriculture, and environmental issues. The meeting also had in attendance the leadership of Parliament, including the Second Deputy Speaker, Mr. Andrew Samakwe-Siama, the Majority Leader, Mr. Oseche Mensah Bonsu, the Minority Leader, Mr. Haruna Idrisu, as well as the Clerk to Parliament, Mr. Cyril Kwabena-Nsia. Mr. Bagbin also spoke about the need to strengthen the institutional capacity of the legislative branch of government to ensure that the democracy thrived, and stressed the need for members of parliament to be given officers and personnel in their constituencies for ease of consultation and work in their constituencies. Mr. Bagbin expressed gratitude to the ambassador for the visit and expressed the hope that the good relations between Ghana and the United States would further be strengthened. Ambassador Sullivan, while congratulating the Speaker on his appointment, also commended the Appointments Committee of Parliament for the good work it did in vetting the various ministerial appointees of the President.
The Minister of Roads, Mr. Kwesi Amwako-Atta, has said the Akufo-Addo government has constructed more roads in the Ashanti region than any administration. He has therefore rejected claims that the governing New Patriotic Party has failed to construct roads in the region, which happens to be the party's stronghold.
Addressing the media after touring some ongoing projects in the region, Amwako-Atta touted the government's achievement at the road sector, describing them as unprecedented, announcing that 5 more interchanges will be constructed in the region. The completion of these projects, according to the minister, is expected to ease vehicular traffic experienced at major intersections within the region. According to him, Oforikrom, Bekwai, Ahundro, Suame, and Santaza roundabouts have been identified as areas the interchange project will impact. During the 2021 State of the Nation address, President Akufo-Addo reiterated that 2021 will be second year of roads.
A Sekondi High Court has adjourned an election petition filed by the NDC parliamentary candidate for Isikado Ketan in the 2020 elections, Professor Grace Ayensu-Dankwa, challenging the results declared by the Electoral Commission. Mr. Joe Gatti, the incumbent member of parliament, was declared winner by the EC.
The court, presided over by Dr. Richmond Osei-Atwere, adjourned the trial to Tuesday, March 23, 2021, for a ruling on an application by the first respondent, Mr. Gatti, filed by his counsel, Frank Davis. Mr. Davis had prayed the court to strike out the petition on the grounds that the petition ought to have been signed by the petitioner, Professor Dr. Grace Ayensu-Dankwa herself, and not her counsel, Mr. David Kwadwo Ametefe. The court, after hearing some legal arguments of which counsel for the petitioner, Mr. Ametefe, opposed the motion, adjourned for ruling on the motion on the said adjourned date.
7 more persons have been arrested in connection with the harvesting of babies and human trafficking in some health facilities in the Greater Accra region. This brings the number of suspects arrested in connection with cases to 18, while 3 babies have been rescued following a joint operation by the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, and the Ghana Medical and Dental Council.
Those arrested comprise the head of neonatal intensive care unit at the Tama General Hospital, Nelly Tego, 2 caregivers based in the United States of America identified as Florence Akwa and Eleanor Ofori-Nsia, a social welfare worker at the Tama General Hospital, Nancy Obaya Frimpong, an aunt of a teenage girl whose baby was sold, and a couple who sold their baby at the Tama General Hospital. Earlier, 2 medical doctors, 4 nurses, 2 mothers, 2 social welfare officers, and a traditional birth attendant were arrested. All the suspects are currently on EOCO inquiry bail while investigations continue. The babies, who are all boys, were offered for sale between 30,000 Ghana cedis and 28 Ghana cedis, while one of the buyers was said to have made part payment of $2,500 for one of the babies. Currently, the babies, who were named Joy, Kwesi, and Nyamiche by their buyers, are in a foster home pending the final determination of the cases. Briefing journalists in Accra yesterday, the executive director of EOCO, Commissioner of Police, Mr. Frank Edupoku, retired, said officials of the 2 agencies undertaking the investigations had received threats on their lives from some faceless persons, but he stated that they were unperturbed about the threats of death on their lives of the investigating team, and that they will continue to collaborate to protect public health and safety by preventing and detecting organized crime. Mr. Edupoku said investigations into the baby harvesting and child trafficking syndicate started in February 2020 based on a hint from a taxi driver who suspected that 2 women who had had his services might have bought a baby from Susan Clinic located at Latebiokoshi. The 2 women, Florence and Eleanor, were arrested at their residence at Manette in Ogboju while they were attempting to abscond with the baby to Agona Swedru. Following an earlier press conference on the baby harvesting Western Syndicate, Mr. Edupoku said some persons had petitioned EOCO to look into suspected cases of their babies or others who had been stolen at some health facilities. He said on January 25, 2021, a banker petitioned EOCO that in April 2016, she was taken to 37 military hospital as a result of pregnancy complications. Dr. Mensah, who was her doctor, referred her to his private facility because there was no bed.
3 bodies in Thursday's gory accident and the outskirts of Sola have been identified by their families. This leaves 5 more waiting to be claimed at the Wa Hospital.
This follows an incident where a Wa Kumasi-bound Sprinter Benz bus with registration number AS 3022-15 somersaulted and crashed into a nearby bush on the Sola-Tuna Kaiba district of the Savannah region. According to sources, the 23-seater Sprinter bus was from Wa in the Upper West region heading towards Kumasi in the Ashanti region, but upon reaching the outskirts of the district, another vehicle, a Sanyong minibus, overtook the Sprinter. A chop box on the Sanyong minibus reportedly fell off and into the Sprinter's lane. The Sprinter then ran over the chop box, bursting one of its front tires. This forced the vehicle off the road into the bush, resulting in some deaths and casualties. It is reported that families of 3 of the casualties have retrieved the bodies at the morgue in anticipation following news of the development. One of them has also been identified as a female footballer who is said to be the breadwinner of a family. 22 others are also in critical condition and are receiving treatment.
You're watching Truth TV News, coming to you live from the studios at Heritage Christian University College campus in Amasaman, Accra. The news is also supported by St. Carol School of Nursing and the Taifufa Company Limited, producers of Chanka Chanka Herbal Medicine. We'll be back after this break.
My name is Roberta.
And my name is Comfort.
And this is our business, Idan Snail and Mushroom Farm. Within ACC, there is a Center for Entrepreneurship, Philanthropy and Ethics for students to bring out their business idea.
Our business idea was snail and mushroom farm because we saw the high demand in snail and the nutritional value of mushroom, and we saw snail as the new gold in West Africa.
We are one of the 20 teams to go after the CEP money to set up our business. Through presentation, pitches, and hard work, we became one of the 8 final teams.
Along with the prize of 15,000 Ghana cedis given to us by the ACC, they also support us with directors who are helping us through mentorship, directing us, coaching us to get our business set. We are hoping by the following year we'll start employing other people outside campus to help us to get hand in hand to expand the business and get moving on. One thing I've learned from ACC is to be ethical in all business that you do. No matter how the challenges, you have to face the world so that you can succeed. Even though there is high rates of unemployment in Ghana, at ACC, they train us to become entrepreneurs. So before graduation, you own your own business. This is our business, and now we are waiting to graduate and now employ other graduates to come and work for us.
You're watching Truth TV News. In business today, the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, is alarmed at the government's newly proposed taxes as outlined in the 2021 budget statement and economic policy. It fears that these taxes introduced will have a huge toll on the business community, particularly at a time when players are reeling under the devastating effects of COVID-19 pandemic.
Speaking at a post-budget analysis program at the University of Professional Studies, Accra, held on Thursday, the AGI's representative on the panel, Adobia Isiama Abuaje, said it would be prudent if government reconsiders the imposition of the taxes to help in the sustainability of business operations. The government, through the caretaker Minister of Finance, Osei Mensah-Bonsu, in delivering the 2021 budget, last week announced the government's proposal of introducing 6 new taxes. These taxes include a COVID-19 health levy, 1% increase in national health insurance levy, and 1% increase in flat VAT rate, as well as a 30% increase in fuel prices to take care of excess power capacity and charges, 20%, and sanitation and pollution levy 10%. But Madam Isiama Abuaje was of the view that existing economic conditions amidst the taxes will only aggravate the difficulties on the production and manufacturing value chains businesses and to a large extent even livelihoods. She strongly pointed out that taxes, if not reviewed, will even make businesses unable to take advantage of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement.
The director of the Animal Production Directorate of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Edwin Bequin, has indicated that the ministry is poised to reduce the importation of chicken by 70% by 2025.
He has indicated that Ghana is currently importing $380 million worth of meat products annually, with local meat production accounting for only 17% of the country's meat requirement. These statistics, he said, are disheartening and so an indictment on the country, hence the introduction and implementation of Rearing for Food and Jobs initiative by the government. Mr. Bequin, speaking in an interview on Friday, March 19, said the RFJ policy enrolled in 2017 is focusing on addressing the challenges confronting the country's livestock industry. He reiterated that the government is determined to improve breed productivity and production, development of infrastructure, feed production and conservation of forage, animal health and disease control, and development of communal grazing lands. All these programs, according to him, are geared towards increasing the local production whilst maintaining a success will be made, but that is a gradual process. In the same vein, he said the Planting for Food and Jobs program is also empowering farmers to produce more animal feed to salvage the seasonal inadequacy of feed, both in quantity and quality. Mr. Bequim is positive that, per the success chalked so far by the implementation of RFJ, Ghana is likely to reduce the importation of chicken by 2025. Mr. Bequin said he is optimistic that with structures laid down by the government and the expertise of the farmers, Ghana would be self-sufficient in poultry industry and meet the country's chicken consumption demand.
Major supermarkets in the country are being accused of putting in place discriminatory barriers that hinder the ability of local producers of eggs to have their produce on their shelves. The comments come on the back of research conducted by Confidant, an international business advisory firm, which showed a sharp decline in the made-in-Ghana eggs on the shelves of top supermarkets in the country from 93% in 2019 to 55% in December 2020.
The research, which surveyed 9 of the leading supermarkets and 2 fuel stations in Accra on 19 product categories in December 2020, showed that only 26% of all the goods sold by these supermarket chains were made in Ghana. The research conducted by Confidant also showed that this is, however, an improvement on the 2019 survey, when only 18% of goods surveyed were Ghanaian products. Speaking on the results of the survey, President of the Greater Accra Poultry Farmers Association, Michael Nyako Ampem, said the multinationals are finding ways to cut local producers out, so they are in a nice way not allowing the locally produced birds and eggs to come in onto their shelves. What they do is that they have this line where they use all manner of issues, including the appearance of the eggs, the shape of the eggs, amongst others, to disqualify you. Those are the strategies that they are adopting. You are likely to accept that your eggs have issues if you take their word, but if you go in and you check, you realize that your eggs are indeed comparable to what is on their shelves, he said. He called on stakeholders such as the Trade and Industry Ministry to introduce policies that would ensure local poultry producers are protected.
That'll be all for business. International news is up next.
Taka taka No. I feel weak and tired. No, this feeling is different.
Why better on? Chanka.
Chanka.
Adrenaline, this is the medicine. Your friend Chanka. Only more a man promoting the bone for Diano and Mokutia.
You say what?
This is Chanka.
Drink. Numbi drinking now this year. Yes, that's right.
Chanka.
Yes, Chanka.
I feel good and stronger than before.
I told you, Chanka is our secret.
Chanka. Ebwa wuni pediana manu kutia nyarewa. Taifofa 202. Kutia malaria. Defaton 202. Ebema wedi diye. FD arisho ejadi enkra to imadi atumuse eye.
And now some international news. Vice President of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan, has been sworn in today as Tanzania's first female president after the sudden death of John Magufuli from an illness shrouded in mystery. The 61-year-old took the office in Dar es Salaam before inspecting troops at a military parade and receiving a cannon salute.
The inauguration was witnessed by members of the cabinet and Tanzania's former presidents Ali Hassan Mwinyi, Jakaya Kikwete, and Abeid Karume. The former heads of state were the only ones in the room wearing face masks to protect against COVID-19. Hassan then went outside to inspect a military guard of honor. Under the constitution, Hassan will serve the remainder of Magufuli's second 5-year term, which does not expire until 2025. Hassan's inauguration comes 2 days after she announced the death of President John Magufuli, who had not been seen in public for more than 2 weeks. In her first public address, she announced 21 days of mourning for Magufuli and public holidays on March 22 and on his burial day, which will be on March 25. She said that Magufuli, who always liked teaching, had prepared her for the task ahead. Nothing shall go wrong, she assured, urging all the country's people to work to unite the nation. Hailing from Zanzibar, the semi-autonomous island in the Indian Ocean, Hassan rose through the ranks over a 20-year political career from local government to the National Assembly. A stalwart in the ruling Chama cha Mapinduzi, she was named Magufuli's running mate in the 2015 presidential campaign. The pair were re-elected in October last year in a disputed poll marred by allegations of irregularities. She is the only other current serving female head of state in Africa, alongside Ethiopia's president Sahle-Work Zewde, whose role is mainly ceremonial. She must consult the party about appointing a new vice president. Analysts say she could face pressure from powerful Magufuli allies within the CCM, who dominate intelligence and other critical aspects of government, and could try and influence her decisions. Hassan was little known outside Tanzania until she appeared on the state television on Wednesday night to announce that Magufuli had died aged 61 from the heart condition after a mysterious 3-week absence from public view. Questions remain over the true cause of his death after multiple rumors he had COVID-19 or had sought treatment abroad.
In Congo, the 77-year-old president, Denis Sassou Nguesso, is aiming for re-election in the first round on Sunday in Congo-Brazzaville, where members of the civil society have expressed serious reservations about the transparency of the election.
The climate seems less heavy than 5 years ago. A few days ago, Frederick Bin Tasmu said that the election must not be an opportunity to reawaken the old demons of division. The 56-year-old, better known as Pastime to Me, took up arms in the Pool region after the disrupted elections of President Sassou Nguesso in March 2016. Regular forces counterattacked in a closed-door conflict that displaced 140,000 people, according to humanitarian sources. The authorities announced the ceasefire just before Christmas 2017. For Mariella, a high school student in Point Noir, it's better to stay with Sassou, who keeps the peace in the country. At least that's good. The gallery and economic questions haunt the minds of voters in this oil-rich country of 5 million inhabitants, which was expecting a 9% drop in its GDP with COVID-19. Even before the health crisis, GDP per capita had plateaued at $2,279 in 2019 compared to $3,922 in 2012 during the oil boom, according to the World Bank. Faced with the impasse of all oil, Sassou Nguesso said he was putting youth and agricultural development at the heart of his campaign, calling it shameful that the country imports most of what it consumes. The two main rivals of the outgoing president are two former ministers who have gone into opposition, Guy Brice Parfait Colelas and Matthias John.
And that's it for Truth TV News in English. This news was sponsored by Heritage Christian University College in Amasaman, Accra, where our studio is located. And then it's also supported by St. Carol School of Nursing in Aplakubo Tiano near the Bojo Beach, and also supported by Taifufa Company Limited, producers of Chanka Chanka Herbal Medicine, Taifufa 202 and Jefferton 202 medicines. The Akan News is next with Obin Che Bafo.
Medoba, ni nyina ni nursing. Coronavirus eba yi, adwuma nyina obi akotena fie. Nurse fo nko ye adwuma 24/7. Ne santi odo ho ko hye nursing. Aye graduate nursing free St. Carol School of Nursing ho a na wonto ho mu ikura. Omo betete wa ma wa ba ye nurse paben papa. Omo affiliated to KNUST. Omo facilities de edutwamu o library a omo free Wi-Fi into omo e-library ni omo physical library ni bomba ko. Esanso ewo demonstration ward skills laboratory normal ye chiro ni nyina se okwa ye wo onipa ya sheda na tran se oye demo ward executive ono na obeboa wa mo wate ase be bibiara wonti ase o wadaje wa botre be chiro ma mo wate ase ye wo Aplaku Ayalolo ye free old barrier ewo Malam Kasua kwan no so Odi wani achre John Evans Atamils bypass no ye wo baby e friend no Aplaku Ayalolo ye ben Bojo Beach pa na ye phone number e 0244 620960. St. Carol, dare to care, be a nurse.
Choose St. Carol.
Yo, afefo me mama kwaba ye friend me Steven me na me da eye SA Stange Enterprise ano eye aha deal with home appliances and furnitures na bini empa inbuilt bed together with mattress it ye can inbuilt bed together with mattress wan kasa obetumi afele o fele mattress woman mattress ni a very high quality and a high density and a bed no very strong and high quality bed and ye wo bedwe wo ho a sha say free king size e be pim 1.5 bed enti se open 1.5 bed eno so wo ho open queen size eno so wo ho open double bed eno so e wo ho na ba no home appliances there we deal a lot of things e wa hanom e fa fridge air conditioning freezers fan any ceiling fans ni pillows, a lot of things I be ma wasitena aye easy e dey ama ode oba Stange Enterprise ubenya bibi sa ebe bow and very affordable price aya tete sokra bed ene ukoto empa eduana nkasa any mattress u check queen size na o kikan ko 1000 plus baha ubaha peduano any mattress no ana yaye in build together u check your price no very simple and affordable, which is 930 cedis. A queen size with a mattress, 930 cedis. Sana double no so no, ushe double na mede mensa double no so ye very affordable, 800 cedis. Ye wo branches wo Ghana ha ayapete, ye wo bi wo Kumase, sa so na wo kotra kwaria. Sana oba dodo wa so a your branches e wo dodo wa sana La Paz so ye wo branch but Accra fo ni na no momfa mo ni hwe damfa eye ayi mensa e blue coin no so delivery service is available me sere so say ye delivery aye no so eye very good and trusted delivery. Would you find number no Ghana bibi biara one of freye ye delivery service, home delivery service. You bet me the bed na brewo na mo hye no so untia hwe e ma yansa the bed na brewo. Ye the bed ni be do wi a na wo de sika no ama driver no. Mo hye no so say ye delivering service no enye free. The deliveries come with a charge. Ye some ma opportunity ye ma akonya say wa wo pese wo fa bed yi na wo koton, wa wo pese wo ye business ni bi. You are welcome. Fire numbers na go stream ni no. Na wa we sisi dan wo pese wo di bed ni gugugu inside. The fire numbers na frey. Mu nyina mo discount. Mo amu to mo akoton mo discount wo ho. Yete so ma wa wo tokra wo nya ukoton kra wo nya mfaso mo. Ebe boa wo pa ye bed no. Saa so na mo amu pese bed no mu tori good dan mu pese hotels, guest house no. Mu nyina mo fire number na go stream ni no. Na ye betumi a serve mo nice.
Ghana adeshimama ya macho amwakwa basonkon edemba True TV akan kesebo so ebrason sekesebo ayensa kan omamu ena amonone na semufo asemu yede ebeson yen ahwefo mia ene anwumne megipre kenkan akan kesebo ede amamo eye amansan sonfo oben che bafo empenese ebra yewo tafo ne onkuta eta nemum abosoba ena ma ejapane senti yehwe akan kesebo yi die ejimu akotin nobi Obinfu Kwame Osei Kwaten a ono ene da sabese school ensensam so e de abetu edwase enam textbook bi a abepie edwa no ebe ne de se ebetuma hwehwemu nenam so ama omen atumi afa ne ntuma pa efra sala ana se yekọ amone so a samle cham na eman no e de ato USA aban anim ene America fo nya enim se omunyai ehwehwe a sabiom koso hwehwe a amanfoforo mu ensem na omankasa eni wo mu efie asem we abusunya wona aso yasene ma ene anwumre yede akan kesebo ebro eye Heritage University College ya ewo Amasaman Stadium dano echipe oda for se opese okosuapon wa suapon ba kope ene ebetumi akanfo ede amawo enwane Heritage University College a ewo Amasaman Stadium dano echipe esanse wonum eboa adesuafo de friend entrepreneurship no eya de di akotin ye enunti fa wani kire Heritage Christian University sane beya wonso daachen onkoye adesoa emfanto wabusuafo esuo yes Mame papa so obansa efa ne ko botiano apraku a eben obodo pitch sane beya obano so ebetumi eya nurse musuku makowura na daachen obano so ebeya nurse enunti ena ye kanfo St. Carlos School of Nursing ede ama oba ene wo mame ene papa sane beya wonso angofo ma ekono wonso oba ebetumi akobie nam so ama wonso wani gie awie wo peye sabre ya ensuo to sabre pepepe ena atiridie yade e ma no homne so e wo man Ghana mu enu nti na etwase otimi ebo ho ban esie enu nti Taifofa company akofa eduro mamaso bi aba ye frɛ no chanka eno ena ebe kon aboa wo ama wa pomden atimi awie peye ni senti fa wani e kire Taifofa company limited sene beya obetimi akɔgye eye wo chanka ama wo so pomden awie peye wie abusua ye twa ye ho aba ye ba ye de nchechemu ebeto edwa abusia yamamu akwaba emamu atenase bio sapre yanwetwe na yenyi aku emfa engu awiem sane aboa asansa kokochiraka etwa ne ho eje emfre ewo ewiem no obinfo kwame osɛ kwaten ede atu edwase ebe no de se nhwehwemu ebekoso ewo bra sabre trata bi akopie ewo school ahodo nam so ama akoyese enipa mu ayimu aba fiaseman Ghana mu Dani Emma National Council for Curriculum and Assessment ano Professor Kwame Osei Kwaten ede atu edwase Council a oda ano no a ono ena ye opani awomu no sabrei eye no awerɛhoɔ papa sɛ sabrei krata bi apie edwa enam so ama Ghana for dodo no ena eka ho asɛm eno nti sabrei ode atu edwase ebe ne de se onum ebetumi ama kwan ama hwehwemu mapa ebetumi akoso ama onipa kura enam no so ema sabre krata tisa etumi epe edwa ewo kwan ya sabre textbook bi a enipa dodo no akasa etia esanse wonum esusu se ensemfo bi a ewo sa kasa mu ana krata yi mu ade a entwaye nanam so ede enipa mu nyiyimu enentitimu ena eba tiasema Ghana mu eno enenam so ama opani ede atu edwase ebe ne de se hwehwemu mapa ebetumi akoso sane ebeya yebetumi ehu nokuratuo do a ewo saa ensem eno ena opani ede tu edwase se utietie ensem a ekoso a na ekame ayese obi ene hye kuntuna ase a opese opkofa asem ebeto oman tiasema Ghana mu nanso sabese de waye krado ene nadwumayefo ni nyina eye ahoboa sane ebeya ombetumi aye hwehwemu na enipa enano so ema sansemi epie dwa no yetumi atwena so sane ebeya betumi anya asomdwe abuamu anom opania oye dean ema faculty of art ema University of Cape Coast ena odisa ensemi etudwa Owura Gabi asare oche dakon ede ato MPP amayoko mpanifo a wonom sabre onom epre se emfie empem mienu ene aduonu enan franka tuo adwuma no onsa ebeka no wode ato wonanu se sabre enye ebra esese mpanifo edi aprapre ewo MPP amayoko mu sanse sabre de eye adwumaden ene sese wonom etumi yesane beya won betumi aye adwumaden nam so na nana adodankwa akufu ado ne tirimu po a ekuta no ebetumi aye jojo se omanfo ebehwa nansen aprapre aba MPP amayokom ni nyina ene se ebreso na nana adodankwa akufu ado ede nimfie na ya Ghana fo ede ahye ne nsa no eba awie ya hwan ena obedi won animu kan akotu franka na wom akopre ewo emfie empem mienu ene aduonu nan abatoɔ akansi a ebeba so enumu eno ena sabre Gabi asare ochedakon a oye MPP amayoko no mu mpanifo baakon ede ato edwa se samne se wohwe apraperia edi ahim edi adencheche ewo MPP amayoko no mu a eyade a esese mpanifo etumi ekasetia esanse anhwe ya na ede oye ne kase ena ebeto eye aban no so Oreyi ekoso echire mu se wohwe sane yade COVID-19 nam so ama ene ewiase afana nyina abonyanyan esan yade COVID-19 enam so ama ewiase sikasem aduanesem ensuosem ene nyama nyina akobasa no na sabe empanimfo a wonom ewo cabinet nanka etwase wonom edwene kokan na wonom timi ye adwumaden edebua nana adodankwa akufu ado aban na timi ko animu sane ebeya Enfie empim mienu ene aduonu nan abatoɔ no ebetimi aya chocho ede ama MPP no sabre ena mpanifo a ewo mu aparapre ena eye wonom enam so ama Owura Gabi dakon ede ato edwase se sa na tie na obi epese okwapre mpanini edi a ene na sabre eye dwumadi a odie se omansoafo no ono emfanto ho na onkopre ne mpanenie eno ne betumi aboa anya saade a na eye haw bi ena opese ode beto MPP amayekuo no so na ebiaka Nana Adodankwa Akufo Addo yada so ewo amanyo SM yefri MPP mu na yemonwura NDC amanyekuo mu owura baba jama ede ato nipakuo bi asabe wo keka nsem bi se asade NDC for empanifo ebu wani egu ensam a owura Sami Jamfi eka fam na hyebdefo a ewo mhyebdwam ehon no eno anoda betu edwase enya de a NDC empanifo ebu wani egu so nemum wonom etu ho anamon Deputy Director Emma NDC amayekuo mranimfo eku owura babajama ede ato enkofo a keka ensem ne titiru ene NDC amayekuo twetwerefo abedi akire dada owura kwaku endeho se enye no kreda se NDC amayekuo empanimfo enka hwe emfade NDC amayekuo kasamafo owura Sami Jamfi ekasafa empanimfo a wonom ewo message ewo bra enipakuo dodo no ena onom ekasa ensemi etia owura Sami Jamfi se ensamo a oka edefa eye enipa ewo mehebedwafie a onom anegina NDC anamu no kasa okan no entwaye owura baba jama ede eto edwa akirem se NDC amayekuo National Executive Committee akoshiemu ewo sasem kroya ho ewo NDC amayekuo mpanifo tenabea a sabre wonom akobenkrom ade ato owura Sami Jamfi enim se sebi prejudice empanise se aboa no nano ewa se dan ala onidi entwa esuo na etwa se ensamo a owura Sami Jamfi edeto abonten no eyade a okọ ema no etraso ensam no enyina ene se owura Sami Jamfi ensam a oka editia eye mrehwedwafo a wonum ejina NDC anamu ewo mrehwedwam no eyade a asemi akọ etia wo na eye omo ya eno enanam so ama sabre owura babajama aba abonten ede abetu edwase ensam a ebinumu kan titru ene kwaku anyideho ede etu dwase ekame ayese empanifo ayi wonani enti se odogo bi enu abe eno enanam so ama babajama aba abonten abechiremu se enye saa anatie se empanifo ayi won eni atu baabi nemum anamo pabiala estwase wonum etuo no wonum etu afasa asemi ho owura babajama ekoso echiremu se ono babajama na adwinemu die osusu se owura Sami Jamfi papa soa opa enwoma so na enye nanum de ene ye no nemum na ne ye yentia nemum okọ ema na ebro so nanso babajama ekoso echiremu se enipadodo no a ena ekoso ebo owura Sami Jamfi abaso ewa ensama okan yesanse empani aka atwo se pempen wasini pen na etwa se ensamo a owura Sami Jamfi elkan ye no nipadodo no a ena yomde na etwa se onumutina se esiesie ema asomdwe a esefata eba NDC amayekuo nim sane ebeya enfie empem mienu ene aduonu enan abato a onum kom no betimi anya kroye etumi akopre abanwa na enam so ama nkunudie aye NDC amayekuo no edea ebusuya yetoa akan kese bonoso Netherlands aban na musi animu a owo oman Ghana mu owura Ron Striker ejina Netherlands aban na mu abo Ghana aban abaso Nana Adodankwa Akufo Addo se oye bememu isanse ebra yade COVID-19 eyi ni ti awatiaseman Ghana mu no Ghana aban etumi ejana na so ekonkoden eye die esese oye biara edeboa ne manfo emfa ho ene ohawa sabe na ate ayen ewiase afana enyinala Netherlands aban abo Ghana aban abaso papa ama Ghana aban moniyo ene akukuduro ene ensi ya Ghana aban esiye ewo bra yadia COVID-19 yadia ebo ewiase yadia ebo abusua yadia emma odehye efol efu na kunwa so edi wiase nyina so nanam so ma ebi eka atiaseman Ghana eno ena Netherlands aban abo omampani Nana Adodankwa Akufo Addo aban abaso papa se wonum etimi enya akukuduro ejina wonaso ene enhyehye pa womu edigu kwanso a omanfo etimi fa so ebo yade ho ban eno ena Netherlands aban editu dwa ebo omampani Nana Adodankwa Akufo Addo abaso se bedi akon edin efata no na efata no akono enye akwankwa nuase eno nti sabre wohwe ejuma Ghana ban eni apomuden eye ya na etwase wonom ebo nwabaso ewa akukuduro ene ensi ya wonom edigu ekwanso Netherlands aban ekɔ so ekyire mu sɛ sɛ wohwɛ adwuma sononko a Ghana aban ne apɔmuden ɛyɛyɛ na wode toto ebibre mu aman enkaye no ho a na Ghana edamu bafua ne titiriw ene sɛ ebra na yade edi ahim no enam so ema ohia pɛsɛ ebeto ɔmanfo nyina so nanso Ghana aban etumi egyina ne na so ɛwɔ bra otumi edi electricity ensuo eni nuane ene akwanhofo so ekwan bebire ɛfa so ɛboa ɔmanfo eno ena opani edi tudwa sɛ onipa ɛyade a ɔsayi netwa sɛ otumi ɛbɔ Ghana aban ene apɔmuden ne mpanimfo a ɛwɔ Ghana ba so papaapa ɛwɔ anamapa a wɔnom etumi etuye ebibrem ama mpanimfo dodo no ana sabre onom ejam Tanzania mampani owura John Magafuli sabre watoa nananom ɛwɔ nsiadoɔ esan ebra sabre awentoyanchem kase ato Tanzania maninti enam so ama wona wochichi ene benchie nyina ejam Tanzania man no esan bamuowu a ode ninsa nwunu akoto Tanzania mampani John Pombe Magafuli a nintahudin ene bulldozer enunti enam so ama sabe enipa ewo chichi ne bencheye ehum ene hanoa ne nutu ene natam enyina ede ya konsam ene awechichire ensam ede ma Tanzania eman no ene abusua owura Magafuli efrimu na bio nso onom ama aman panifo a sabre dodo no ena na on adamfo pa ene owura Magafuli na onom ene ne kona ekra na eto kese enyina ekoso ama abusua enyina yakọ ene shedden edi ama opania sabre watoa nananom ewo ensie edo se eba no ebibremu amampani ahodoɔ a wɔnom ebu ɔman a ekame ayese ɔmampani baako a ɔsɔre egyina na so ɛwɔ bra na yadeɛ COVID-19 edi ahim edi adencheche tempentenkwa ɛwɔ wiase afa na nyina wotimi bɔ no homɔden ɛpɛsɛ ne manfoɔ ebetimi afa mu tɔɔten no na owura Magafuli ɛdamu befo a ɛno nti sabre akɔya rehosam kɛseɛ ɛwɔ Tanzania memu a enipa pepiankoma ɛna esu no etwa adwadoɔ ɛna bamuowu a sabre ɛde ne kuntunkuni abɛkata nso nanam so ama awuwa pakan abefa no akɔ nanso empani aka ato se ewiase enye die owuo efata no ena owuo nemom ne bre aso ena owuo enam so ama sabre ewiase afa na nyantetru ene ebibremu aman ahodo mpanifo ede ya konsem ene awochichire nsem ede ma Tanzania man ene abusua sabre opani efrimu abusua afe yenwura enije mu ensem abrantia ototwom a ne din ede Charles ni ama mesa a dodo no efro no Shatawale ede ato edwase sabe Ghana for dodo no na esori a sebi empredasa wonom etwe won ano ebia so eka ensem efa enwom a oto ho enam so ama sa abrantie ede ato edwase se ne nwom enye sede omo kan dia ene na Ghana for enko Nigeria memu eho eno benya enwompa etie abrantia oto adwom ewo tiaseman Ghana mu a wagi din ewo wiase ene afana enyina abrantia Charles ni ama mensa a nentahudin ene Shatawale akeka ebi akire omanfo binumu a sabe da ne da wonom etwe wano ebia so na wonom ekeka ensem erefa enwum a ekoso ntitru ene de abrantia Shatawale ebeto ho eno ena abrantie Shatawale ababonten abeka bi ede akire wonom se sebi impredasa se ablabo enye bona anka aboa akokɔ emutam ne senti wonom a atwe won ano abiaso na da ne nwom ho nsem ena omoka se nanse ne nwom ensem a efrimu ba no eyade a ense na enfata no eno ena abrantie Shatawale ede ato edwase se wonom esusu se ne nwom a oto no eyade a enye da enye na onum enko Nigeria memu eho eno benya nwomtofo akotie nwom na ma obi emfa ne pempensuwa emese ne ha life se omanfo ebekaya enche kura ena enwomto akansie bi ekoso na ekopie mu no na nya ade a Ghana dwomtini biara eka ho eno enenam so ema amanfo binum eka se kame ayese nansen kwan ya Ghana fo nwomtofo foforo abai efa so etodwom no eya ade a emoa yie kura isanse ekwan ya wonom efa so esai enwom na hwe enwom mu nsem a enya ade a emu eduo nenam so amasabe Ghana nwom eba fom eno ena abrantie Shatawale etihwe fom ma netikopa ya wose Ghana for enfan suohie ensiso non pepa na tiko eman sanse obi ede banche akoba nwum eno nti enam so ama wokeka bi ede kira wonom se enye obi ene beka chense nanum akum enti onto enchini na emum ono abrantie shata wale no enwum a oto no se onom ene nyi ho a wono kasa ene gye ho eno nti mema obi entena ba bi enkasa enwum a eba no ayanwum a ense Ebusuya yefa bojabum entu se aboa okwadia ne hwene santemu enkopiemu ewo China ememu. China ban ene mpanifo ede abetudwa ama ebi aka United States of America for say kame ayese America for sabre wonom ayom ho a omuhwehwia nkofo mu nsam dodo ne senti won kasa ntenafie na wonom eni onfie asem.
China mpanifo a womo ekojumedie ebo eye US subo se womo buapa ena womo ekohihye eye amangudo ebi kutupa se womo emme ne China man eme kontokwa ya yese womo abrebia na womo aba atake China man ni nyina free US ena wodi sa ensem money no enyina sabre wo hwe aman mienu eye China ena US a womo ye wa superpowers mienu womo nyina adwadie womo eye kukudam no a womuntam anyukra bese emfia hudo ba die wo honie US empanifo a okojumedie no ananhyiamu yase no editu edwa se sabre mu wo ensem bi editia China man anu ntia nche omude sansem no nyina ba betopono so atwetwe no se wo wia enam na nsusuanso na bi beka Beijing ena afekra Yuga muslimifo a wo mu wo Xinjiang ehonom no wo mu nyina sansusuanso no ojiri se ebeka wo mo na ebeka aye ewiase enyina adwadie ensoso sa nhyiamu ya ekame ayese ensem no anhyeda ankoyie no enipa wo mo ko bi aye akukudam bi se Secretary of State Emma US Anthony Blinken National Security Advisor hwe bambo enwonsem eso Jake Sullivan ana afenso China man so afemu so wonya Senior Foreign Policy Official Ora Yan Jiechi ena osuafo hwe amonone nsem so 1 year sam panifo emienu nso so wamso tutu bi ema US panifo a ombaju enhyamu no ase se ensem awodo bi a womo akeka se Xinjiang afe Hong Kong Taiwan aya bambo emu ensem internet cyber security eno US for akeka se womo enyi China ekwan ofa so eye womo hwehwe no China penfon chem chese womo so ni nye na womo bonyo so kra kwani a US penfon to womo no etutu womo ensem emu
Ebusuya aha ena ebre ebeme kwan ama yede akan kesebo no abesie ansa no yenhwe akan kesebo die na edimu akoten no bi Obinfo Kwame ose kwaten a ono ena sabe eye adesua nsem ohweso ede abeto edwase se ekoba se emhwehwemu ebetumi akoso ewo memu afa textbook bia enka ebe no enje sara ena sabe China for akasa etia America eman ewo kwan a womo ehwehwia wonom ensem wie abusua ansa na yebekono epanese se obrisan betwa asubonte a nefrige besan ayaboafo bi ene so yasene ma yetumi de akan kesebo ebesomwo aboafo a eboa yen edikaye Heritage Christian University a ewo eye Amasaman Stadium dano echipe odofo bomoden afa wani echiro sanse on betumi aboa ama wonso dache odayeso atumi abamu ewo bra onmoboa adesuafo ntitiru ene wonma ekosuapon suapon baako pa womo adechire edakwan na bio omusukunu nso edafom eye Heritage Christian University fa wani echiro awo Amasaman Stadium dano echipe we St. Carlos School of Nursing eto ensa afre obi biara opese dache oye nurse se fawani echire botiano eye malam kaswa kwantempono so sanye beya onso dache ebetimi afro papa nurse ana mama nurse eduro ba ko asabre Telfa Company Limited akofa ba eye chanka a ebua ebustu immune system bomodin efa wani echire eye baby biara yeton no na kwade chanka sane beya bra susuo atwai obetumi enye eduro edi abo wapomuden eho eban we abusua me a ene anwumre be chibre ede akan kesebo ebremo eye amasa sonfo oben chei bafo memamumo ne hwa eburu